Today I'm going to show you this nighttime green glam half cut crease sort of look. And green is one of those shades that's surprisingly quite flattering on Asian skin tone and doesn't look too out there. It can look quite natural in a way. So yeah, if you're bored of the usual brown smoky eyes and want to add a bit of color into your life but nothing too out there, something can still go for, like, say a work after party or a more formal event, I really suggest checking out olive or mossy sort of green shades because it looks so flattering and kinda almost natural on Asian skin tones. So this look is much simpler than it looks, and let's get onto the tutorial, shall we? For this look, I'm starting with my eyes and I'm first applying primer. I'm using Eccentric Cosmetics primer, which I've been using since forever. It's really my favorite primer out there. Now, I'm using BH Cosmetics Royal Affairs palette for this look, and the shade is Monarch, but you can use any eyeshadow or palette you want. With a flat, fluffy eyeshadow brush, apply this all over your lids, following the shape of your eyes so that it peaks just above your eye line when you open your eyes, but tapering down in the inner part of your eye. This color is relatively dark, so you want to avoid putting it in the inner part of your eyes since it'll make your eyes look heavier and smaller. With hooded monolids, you're going to go really high up with this color for it to show up when you open your eyes. Grab a translucent powder, I'm totally showing off my It's Demo Pikachu powder, and apply it above the block of green eyeshadow. This will make blending easier later. With a fluffy blending brush, blend a light brown shade on the edges of the green eyeshadow until all the edges are soft and smooth. This shade is Empress if you're using the Royal Affairs palette. You'll definitely have to go back in with the green shade to make the blend really smooth. Just be patient with this, there's no shortcut to a good blend. Now, I'm going to apply a color corrector with a flat concealer brush to hide the dark circles under my eye. I've mixed the regular cream concealer and the orange color corrector from Makeover's color correcting palette into the perfect salmon shade for my skin tone and deposited it into this old bracelet I have. I know it's weird to have to step here, but it'll make sense later, I promise. Using my damp beauty blender, I'm patting it above the color corrector to blend out the brush stroke, and swiping upwards at the bottom of my eye to clean up the bottom part of my eyeshadow and pull it into a rough wing. Next, I'm grabbing the brown shade again, and with a pencil brush, I'm applying it to the outer half of my lower lash line, dragging it up to the bottom of my eyeshadow and pulling it further up, and then connecting the top part of the eyeshadow to it to create a more winged shape. Let's grab a metallic bronze shade now. The shade is Aristocrat, and with a flat eyeshadow brush that's damp with water, I'm cutting my crease. For monolids, make sure you don't go too high above your eye line to create a more natural shape. I'm stopping somewhere between half and 2/3 of my eye. Then I'm also lining the inner half of my lower lash line with this shade. Next, I'm taking the matte green eyeshadow again, and with a dry, flat eyeshadow brush, I'm blending it into the outer part of the metallic bronze shade so there's no hard edges. Face next! I'm having a bit of a breakout, so first I'm going to have to color correct all the redness with a green color corrector. I'm using the green from Makeover's color correcting palette, which I've depotted so it's easier to travel with. After applying the color corrector, I'm using a fluffy concealer brush to buff it down and spread the concealer evenly. You can use a beauty blender for this too, but my breakout is kind of bad right now, and I find that I get a thicker coverage when I'm using a brush instead of a beauty blender at this step. Don't worry if you see brush strokes. We'll fix it later. I still look tired, so I'm grabbing concealer and applying it into a triangular shape under my eyes to brighten that area up. If you're wondering how to place this triangle, just smile and apply it to the upper part of your cheeks that are upraised.
I'm also dabbing concealer to hide all my other spots and discolorations. And now I'm buffing down the concealer again with the fluffy concealer brush. This concealer is the VDL Expert Cover Cube. It's actually a decent concealer, but I hate the smell of it, so I don't think I'll be repurchasing. I know it's a tiny thing and the smell isn't even that bad, it's just that cakey makeup sort of smell. There's some brush strokes I have to get rid of by pressing down with a beauty blender, and I'm also swiping my beauty blender across any spots where I think the concealer is too thick and needs to be thinned down. Next, I'm using this gorgeous cushion foundation from La Palette and patting it on the parts of my face that needs coverage. I don't like covering my entire face with foundation just because I like my coverage to look more natural, so I do keep parts of my face bare. This foundation is available at a discount at my Kara store, by the way. I'll put the link in the description box below. I accidentally rubbed off my concealer here, so I had to reapply it and then pat foundation over it again. For my brows, I'm using Pro 8 Cheongdam's brow pencil in dark brown. I pretty much do my brows the same way all the time, so I'll just zoom past this part. If you'd like a more detailed brow tutorial, I'll link it above and below. Contouring time! I'm using a brown contour shade that's just a shade or two darker than my actual skin tone, Fenty Beauty's Almond, and applying it in a horn shape at the sides of my face. Then I'm applying Life Centerpiece Neutron, a shade that's about 3-4 shades darker than me, and applying it in a smaller area at the back of the first contour shade. Here's a still frame to show the placement. Next, I'm using a beauty blender to blend the 2 shades inwards and drag it up to the sides of my forehead as well. To get the blend really smooth, I'm even going back in with foundation and patting it at the edges of the contour to make sure they're well blended into my foundation. I'm now applying NARS The Multiple in South Beach in the lower half of where I'd normally place my blush, and Fenty Beauty's Yak Life on the upper half. Here's a still frame to show the placement. And then blending them together with a beauty blender. I really like this method of using 2 blush shades to lightly contour my face. I'm also dragging the blush across my nose to make the flush look even more natural. Don't be afraid to go back in with a bit of foundation to blend out any harsh edges. That's what I did. Finally, for lips that complement this darker fall time look, I'm using a metallic brownish shade, Urban Decay's Amulet. And that's it! Optional step, you can add false lashes, which always makes the look better on camera. You can just opt for mascara if you don't want to go that dramatic.
That's it. Thank you so much for watching the entire thing. If you have any questions or tutorial requests, feel free to ask me in the comments below. Drop me a DM on Instagram too. My Instagram is Working with Monolid, just like my channel. Anyway, thanks so much for watching the entire thing, and I'll see you next time.